Today we'll first cover the chapter data for ESG. So ESG has been a very hot and trendy topic right now and important. So when we talk about ESG, we talk about environmental, social, and governance. And then we're talking about what kind of data available, particularly unstructured data available in this domain. So again, a roadmap of the chapter. So we talk about the concept of the corporate governance. And then 7.2, we talk about what's the textual data for corporate governance. And then 7.3, we show why sometimes when technology rise, like with more emerging technology, why it serves as a governance mechanism. We talk about that. And 7.4, we talk about some examples like usually we do. What's the use case of this data and these examples? So corporate governance has been a important topic, and you guys know that we have to manage firm, and we have to manage manager. So it's kind of, that's the idea of the corporate governance. So we have to have laws, policy, and we want to make sure there's no agency problem, because when manage a firm, sometimes there's agency problem. Managers are not shareholder of the firms. And sometimes they serve their own interest instead of shareholders' interest. So we have to create a board members to govern the corporate managers. And then traditional corporate governance, you can see that we want to have a board members. The board members will govern the corporate managers to make sure there's no agency problem. And also, we will talk about the rising technology can kind of help discipline managers. So we have this is general framework of the corporate governance. We have shareholders, we have board of directors, we have the advisory to board like auditors, lawyers. These are the people who make sure managers are doing their job. They're not doing any tunneling or self-serving interest. So then going to what data we have for this domain, there's many rich data for us to research on ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So one big data we have talking about here is proxy statement. I think we talk about proxy statement at the beginning of the textbook, but we're going to go deeper here. So the proxy statement is the mandatory filing every firm has to file. And it contains a lot of information about the governance information. So it contains about compensation, contains about board directors. So anything about governance information we can find in the proxy statement. And then, yeah, of course, you can find the voting procedures. You can find like you can find like what's the when investors are not happy about manager's decision, they can file proxy fights. And the contents of proxy fights you can find in the proxy statement. And then investor will vote on it. And you can see the final outcome of the proxy fights as well. And then so you can see that it has the voting issue, it has the management about expertise, you have the management compensation, you have conflict of interest, you also have the loan advance to senior executives, and also have auditors information as in the proxy statement as well. So as long as anything related to governance, you can find the proxy statement. So you can see that this is the director, like index of the proxy statement. You can see we starting from what's the role of board directors, what's board committees, and what's the leadership structure, what's the audit committee, and what's the review process of the related persons, what's the related transaction. So for example, if someone has like a related transaction, they have to disclose that as well. And also you have executive compensation. So you can see that anything regarding to management, board members, and the governance of the company, you can find from the proxy statement. And then also you can see the proposal here. So let's say proposal 1, election of directors, shareholder proposal. So investors want to convey their ideas to managers, want to change your management practice. They also file the proxy fights, and the proxy fight we included in the proxy statement, and we can textual analyze these contents to know what the investor wants, and also can see what's the final final voting outcome. And you can see that this is board directors information. You can see this is pictures, blah blah blah. And the interesting thing, sometimes firm put AI board directors. Right? Very few, very pioneer firms. They are not using human director. They're using AI directors to kind of monitoring what managers is doing. And but this is very few firms are doing right now. We don't know what's going on. Do AI doing better job than human directors? We don't know. We'll see. So and you can see the compensation structure. We actually talked about this before. How much cash they have, how much stock, how much total compensation, and also you can see that the in the annual meeting and the voting recommendation, they have different items for investors to vote. And this is example of a proxy statement from Walmart, and you can see that they give you everyone's compensation, and you can see the trend this is sometimes this is a performance-based compensation, which means the CEO do not get this money by default. They have to hit certain performance benchmark in order to receive this money. So basically, they have to raise the stock by 10%, 20% in order to receive the bonus. So this is the pay is contingent on the performance of the stock, sometimes earnings. So you can see the structure of the compensation. And the proxy fight, you can see that when shareholders do not agree with something, they can file the proxy statements, and they can do that. And then we move on to the